The US House finds itself in an unprecedented situation. It won't have a leader for at least a week, after Kevin McCarthy became the first ever House Speaker to be booted from the job by rebellious Republicans. What's next for the country, and how might the rebellion impact the grand old party? Until a new speaker is installed, it's unlikely Congress will take action on bills to fund the government. That legislative halt comes as another government shutdown deadline looms on November 18th. But with Republicans needing a week to choose a new speaker, it would stall talks on government funding. Hard-right conservatives like House Representative Matt Gaetz, who called for McCarthy's ouster, were angry over the then-speaker's failure to win extremely deep spending cuts in those funding bills. But if the eventual goal in removing McCarthy is to shut down the US government, Princeton University professor of American history George Henry Davis says that tactic could backfire on the GOP, as it did only a few decades ago with Newt Gingrich.
If this is a prelude to shutdown, historically shutdowns have not been very productive for the party that shuts down the Congress. I mean, this happened in the 90s, which is really the beginning of this history in some ways with Gingrich. And, the Republicans unleashed Gingrich thinking that he would do a good job against the Democrats. And then he decided to take the whole country down with him with two shutdowns that basically reelected Bill Clinton in 1996. So if you're going back on that precedent, if I was a Democrat, I'd say go ahead. The only problem is that we have to live with the effects of a government shutdown, which are not, which are very, very dire. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want to be the party that benefits from that, because everybody's going through a disaster. Much worse now even than in the 90s.
For now, the House has selected an acting speaker, Republican Patrick McHenry, a McCarthy ally. But he really only has one task: to find a new speaker. Anything more than that, and it would spark another rebellion from the hard right. A date for the next speaker election is set whenever leaders of the both parties decide they are ready to enter the process of electing a speaker. Normally, the elections for Speaker are scheduled at the start of the new Congress every 2 years. Multiple Republicans said they planned to meet on October 10th to discuss possible McCarthy successors, with a vote on a new speaker planned for October 11th. The deep divisions in the GOP were on display in January as McCarthy for days could not get enough votes to win the speaker position and had to endure 15 ballots. Things could be as chaotic this time round for the Republicans, unless they unite after concluding the chaos has sparked public backlash and dimmed their election prospects in 2024.
This is a sad day in Washington because this is about governing, not politics. One of the things that came out of this is today, the 8 that voted him out, you saw a faction of the Republican Party that cares about themselves and their own agenda than what is most important, the American people's agenda. This is about a government shutdown. This is how Washington is supposed to work, not I stay over here and if I don't get my way, then I'm voting you down. That is not the way DC works. DC is about compromise, and today is a sad day, not on the Democratic side, but the Democrats are watching this and they're saying the Republicans can't govern. Today, that vote, not only did it not strengthen the GOP, but what it did, it's something more to come, because now we've got the interim speaker, who's Representative McHenry, but now the question is, who is next to lead the Republican Party? The Democrats right now, for so long we heard about the president who, his numbers were struggling as far as his poll numbers. We saw where now the American people were questioning if this president actually was able to govern. Tonight, the camera and the spotlight is off of Joe Biden and it's back on the Republican Party, where today the American people are questioning, is the GOP ready to lead again in 2024? This is bigger than just Speaker McCarthy. This is about a united party getting ready for a 2024 election. This is a much bigger stake. And unfortunately, these 8 individuals, today, they voted on their best interest, not the American people's best interest.